So good morning, students. So how many classes have been completed till date? 45 or 46? I think for your MTech, BTech MTech students, 46 classes have been completed. Okay. Now how many we have the next week also? So I think we'll be going to complete our session by next week. So all of you go through the syllabus, go through each module, each systems and subsystems. Where are the rest students? Rest students have not joined. Please inform everyone to join. So today I'm going to discuss the major functioning of the cooling systems in the battery management systems. How and what are the different various aspects, and why this topic is very relevant and very important as per your understanding of these battery management system. Okay, so you must have gone through the different arrangement of the battery cell packs that have been arranged in series and that have been arranged in parallel with respect to the provision of the power requirement. Okay, so in our today's session, we'll discuss about the what are the various types of battery cooling systems, and I will also elaborate with the help of some of the videos. And today I will play some important videos that will be very much beneficial in understanding the aspects in the design criteria in an automobile and the design criteria in the battery management systems, how these type of arrangement, this type of spacing, this type of design, this type of fabrication, how they are very much important and very much relevant as per the content. Discuss in our today's session the air cooling, liquid cooling. Where are the rest students? Why are they not connecting? Okay. Now you please let me know if the screen is visible, all of you.
Visible, sir.
This was the recording which we did earlier. Okay. Now we know that in our vehicles, the battery management is a very important and relevant topic. Important and relevant topic. Now, what we have to say here, today we'll see how the manufacturing of these fuel cell stacks are being done, how these manufacturings are being done, and how the battery are being arranged in series and in parallel. Battery systems are arranged in series and parallel. How the CNC, or you can say the robotic machines, they are equipped with all the necessary tools that helps in the assembly of the battery systems, that helps in the assembly of the battery systems. So we'll go through these particular videos, and also we'll discuss about the Chevrolet Volt systems, Chevy Volt systems, battery systems. Okay. Now we know that during charging and during discharging, so when the vehicle is in use, when the vehicle is in use, So the batteries, when they consume the power, then they heat up. So heating up is a very important content that has to be studied. Heating up of the batteries are heating up of the where was I? Heating up of the batteries are very much important, and that should be studied in detailing. Now in this particular image, what do you see? You see image number 1, then we have image number 2, then we have image number 3. So what are these images signifying? Your image number C1 is signifying. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, any problem?
Sorry, sir.
Any problem?
No, sir. No, no, no.
Then you can mute your mic. Okay. So you can see in the image number 1 how the 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 battery packs are being arranged with respect to the horizontal position and with respect to your vertical position, how they are being mounted. So in this particular pack, you can see the batteries were mounted in the longitudinal direction, and then the battery they have packed in the latitudinal. The directions are being changed, and these batteries are 90-degree, this pack and this pack. So this is basically how the battery systems are being utilized, so that effective cooling takes place inside the system. Effective cooling takes place inside the system. Okay. Now in the particular design, what you can see in the second image, we have a high temperature coolant, we have a low temperature coolant, and we have a medium temperature coolant. So here you can see there are certain subsystems being attached with these high voltage battery packs. So these subsystems are being given a yellow color, as this yellow color is basically signifying the medium temperature coolant, and the red color is signifying how in the particular battery pack these temperature distributions has attained its significance from your low temperature coolant, and how the coolant has attained its heat and achieved in the red temperature region, and the circulation is going on. And we have the radiators also. So radiators basically is passing on all the coolants in particular subsystems. So this further subsystems is having these pumps arrangement for distributing the coolant inside the battery packs. So this is the complete way, and you can see here a circuit is also been given. That circuit shows the amount of coolant movement inside the pipes. So very important, the coolant is routed through two paths for battery coolings by a chiller. Then second is coolant cooling electronics by the radiator. So you should know the line diagrams of these battery cooling systems, how they are being arranged. Now in the image number 3, you can see there is a turbo fan being installed. So what does this turbo fan basically? It is circulating the amount of air inside the these battery packs. So there are two methods. One is your air medium cooling, and another is your liquid cooling, or your coolant that is being fed. So the coolant systems coolant systems being fed into the battery cooling systems. So we have to understand the number one, the arrangement of the pipelines in the fuel cell packs. Then we have to also understand the subsystems that are being attached here, and how they are being correlately functioned together with respect to the main system as well as the subsystems. Okay, so you should know the amount of naming for your uh, main system and the amount of naming for your main subsystems. Okay. Now in this particular image, the image number 2, you can see where the pump has been installed, how the signal of the pump, where are the resistors been installed, and where are the reservoirs. So these symbols that are designating your pump, your restrictors, and the CR that is representing your coolant reservoir. So this is your coolant reservoir. So the component of the liquid cooling system, it consists of radiators, then coolant reservoirs, then it further consists of chillers, then the chillers are having these restrictors, then you have all these further ECM electronic components being attached, management modules. Here you can see drive units. So these layouts, you should be able to study this layout, and you should be able to designate all the symbols that have been correlated with any image. Okay, so symbols are very, very important. Very, very important. Now, I think I have to remove this video. Let me remove it, then we'll save it later, because these recordings are been there, so it will not. Okay, one, and we have, so we'll not save it. Okay, now I will show you some of the videos that are related to the arrangement of cooling system. So here we already discussed in our previous sessions how these electric vehicles, they use large batteries to store the energy. The energy flowing in the battery packs as it has been discharged, or it has been charged either from these. Wait, why it is moving forward? So the flow of current causes these heating in the battery cells. Interconnecting systems proportional to the square of current flowing multiplied by internal resistance. And the interconnected systems, the higher the current flow, the more the heating value. So you should also know that battery heating is also a problem and battery cooling is also a problem. Battery heating and battery cooling, both are a problem to the material that are being used for the batteries, material that are being used for the chemical reaction inside the battery, chemical reaction inside the battery, inside the battery. So is the audio, I think I have to switch on the audio. Include computer audio.
Batteries.
Okay, so this basically the video is of the surface cooling versus your tab cooling. So there are two types of methods that have been mentioned: the surface cooling, tab cooling in the lithium ion cell. So now the video will help us understand how the distribution and how the heat transfer is being achieved. So it says why this thermal battery management system is important.
Lithium-ion batteries need to be kept within an optimal temperature range in order to operate efficiently and maximize their lifespan. If the temperature is too high, this can lead to loss of capacity, power fade, and, in extreme cases, thermal runaway. On the other hand, if they're too cold, this results in higher resistance, lower efficiency, and decreased available capacity. Low temperatures can also lead to increased lithium plating, which can cause accelerated degradation and failure of the cell. Thermal management aims to provide a balance between degradation and performance, and also ensures safe operation. There are several ways to cool a lithium-ion cell. Standard cooling systems use either air or liquid as the cooling medium, delivered either to the surface of the cell or to the cell tabs. Air has the advantage of being cheaper and simpler to implement, but it is less efficient than a liquid coolant. Our study compared cell surface and cell tab cooling, measuring efficiency and degradation over the lifetime of the battery. Three rigs were built, an air-cooled control rig and two custom-built liquid-cooled rigs. The liquid-cooled...
See students, here it is very important to understand the method of providing the coolant, whether it is your surface cooled rig or whether it is your tab cooled rig. So we have to see how they both, so they'll be explaining how they both systems will prove beneficial and which system we can take prior and that is advantageous.
Cooled rigs consisted of the test cell itself, along with fluid-cooled heat sinks coupled to either the cell surface or cell tabs via Peltier elements. The Peltier elements were used to hold the temperature at the cell surface or cell tabs accurately at 20 degrees Celsius. In order to simulate a lifetime of cell operation, the cells were charged and discharged 1,000 times. This was repeated 3 times. The state of the cells was characterized at 50 cycle intervals. For new cells using slow-rate standardized testing, very little difference between the cooling methods was seen. However, at higher rates, when discharging the cell in just 10 minutes, surface cooling led to a loss of usable capacity of 9.2%, compared with just 1.2% for cell tab cooling.
So out of these, which you can prefer, this tab cooling is an effective, because surface cooling, how much it was, let us...
compared with just 1.2% for cell tab cooling. After cycling the cells 1,000 times, the rate of loss of usable capacity under load was 3 times higher for surface cooling compared to cell tab cooling. A cell is made of many layers in a pouch to provide a given capacity. When surface cooling, the layers near the outside are cooled better than those in the middle. As all of the layers are electrically in parallel, the inner layers get hot and stay hot, and therefore provide most of the current at the beginning. Towards the end of discharge, the outer layers are now having to provide most of the current, but they're cold, and therefore hit the voltage cutoff sooner. Furthermore, the higher currents flowing through each layer one after another cause accelerated degradation. For tab cooling, since all the layers are treated the same and provide the same current for the whole discharge, the cell behaves much more homogeneously. For tab cooling, the layers are united, whereas for surface cooling, divided they fall. In automotive applications, 80% capacity is considered to be the end of a battery pack's useful life. In this situation, using tab cooling rather than surface cooling would be equivalent to extending the lifetime of a pack by 3 times, or reducing the lifetime cost by 66%.
So you might have understood from this particular video how the effective the cooling method are being achieved through the tab cooling rather than your surface cooling, tab cooling rather than your surface cooling. So there are various methods. Now see, in this particular paragraph, the performance of lithium-ion battery cells is greatly impacted by their temperature. So they do not perform well when too hot or too cold, which can lead to permanent and extreme damage of the cells or accelerated degradation. So in addition to cooling, heating of the cells may also be required at lower ambient temperatures to prevent the damage during fast charging when the cells are too cold. So this is because the internal resistance in this cell rises when they are cold. So most lithium ion cells cannot be fast charged when they are less than 5 degree Celsius. So this is very important characteristics of this lithium ion battery that has been explained. Now these lithium cells, they also begins to degrade quickly when the temperature is above 45 degree. So below 5 degrees Celsius and above 45 degrees Celsius, they are not the conditions for preferable conditions for the lithium ion batteries. Conditions for your lithium ion batteries. Okay. Now, introduction to battery cooling system. In the past, largest battery packs did not necessarily need any special cooling, or a physical size packs have been sufficient, and the relative flow of the current was not large compared to the overall capacity of the pack. So as even faster battery charging rates have been demanded, with the recharge power of 200 kilowatt to deliver times of 30 minutes or less, and higher performance electric vehicle with the requirement for consistent performance and adequate durability in global market has meant that special thermal management methods for battery packs are now required. So there are three common battery thermal management systems: conventions to air, either forced or passive; then cooling by flooding the battery with a dielectric oil when that has been pumped out to a heat exchanger; then cooling by circulation of water-based coolants through the cooling passage within the battery structures. Wait, I'm just okay. So we were at the point number 3, the cooling by circulation of water-based coolant through the cooling passage within the battery structure. Then see, we had air cooling and liquid cooling we discussed. So this particular video of your Chevrolet board system, so this I will explain. Okay, we discussed flooded dielectric cooling, how flooded dielectric cooling systems were used, water glycol transfer in the cell stacks. So you can see how the water glycol is fed into the fuel cell stacks, and with these arrangement of all the cells. So if we take it in a three-dimensional, so if you can see in a three-dimensional, if these are the arrangement of the fuel cell stacks, then there are rectangular, through these rectangular sheets, the liquid or the coolant, that is your water and glycol, are being passed through this, and they then transfer the amount of heat generated is then transferred to the wall of the metal, or you can say the passage of the passage. So basically, it is your conductive heat transfer only. Because that is your from solid to solid. So it is your conductive with respect to convective, forced convective in case of convective in case of your heat transfer. So conduction through convective heat transfer modes are being achieved. So we know that the heat transfer equation for your conduction is equivalent to minus Ka dt by dx, and through heat transfer through your forced convection will be equivalent to Ha into delta T. So this is your convective coefficient, the area, the change in the temperature. So these are some of the relations you should be, heat transfer relations you should be well versed with. Heat transfer relations you should be well versed with. Okay. Let me play the video for the Chevrolet Bolt systems. So I will here try to explain with the video as well as with the proper explanation with respect to all the material type, though they have been shown in this video. So what you will see in this video are the different functioning of the battery management systems in the Chevy Volt battery management system. So these types of videos, they have been entered through Society of Automotive Engineers, so that the explanation of the components that can take place in a very organized and through very channelized way, very channelized way. Okay, now I'll go through the video. So this is approximately the video. These are the volt battery reveals. This is the battery. These are the which consists of cells, and now they have the lithium ion charge from positive to negative. Balancer system balancing the requisite then we have important videos. Chevrolet Volt 350, Chevrolet Volt battery packs. Wait, it is connecting to. So now they are trying to open these. So you can see how what are the arrangement of generator motor. Then you have the charging module. Then the power inverter being attached. Then these are the traction controls with the charge ports, and this is your lithium-ion battery and electric current operations. How the electric current operations takes place, and the charge port is further connected to the charge module. That charge module connected to the lithium-ion battery, and they are getting charged. I think they have the. Let me. Okay. Now about the battery packs. You can see the 3D view, how the arrangement of the battery packs looks like. Then how they'll also be trying to show these battery ECMs and battery modules with the battery elements, battery cooling system. You can see how a line is being passed through all the batteries so that effective cooling takes place. Then battery interface modules it has. Then cell number 1. There are 90 cells in first module. Number of sub cells are 3. Number of battery cells 3, 36 plus 36 plus 18. So there are module number 2 with 72 cells. Module number 3 with 70. So module number 2 with 72 cells. So number of sub modules are your 2 and number of battery cells are 36 plus 36. Then they have the module number 2 cells, number of sub modules 3, number of battery cells 36 plus 36. Then modules 4, 54 cells, number of sub modules 2, number of batteries. So sub module with 17 block. So they have an elaborated view of it. So you can see how the arrangement inside it has been done. So this was an elaborated view where you can see how the slide cover, it has your inner plastic shielding with the temperature sensor being mounted here, the temperature sensor terminals with the wait, let it carry forward. Now this consists of your cooling fin. It has been attached to the frame. Then we have cell 1, cell 2. In between cell 1 and cell 2 we have the cooling fin. how the material anode cathode behaving. Okay, so you can see from one cell anode cathode with another cell anode cathode, how the flow of the charge takes place. Then this is the 3D view of the battery cooling system. So the battery uses the coolant for heating and cooling of the battery module during the cold. So you can see during cold weather operations, a coolant heater would be activated to warm the cells. So once a special temperature has been reached, the cooling system would then switch to cooling cycles to maintain a constant temperature within a specified range. So the amount of the blue line and the red line are signifying the amount of coolant being fed from one and how it has been discharged, how it is being circulated, how the heat transfer takes place. Then this is your battery interface module. Now this battery interface module consists of this battery interface module 1 with the red, then blue, then green, then module 4 also green. These are your battery interface modules being shown above. Battery packs. Now they have explained how these red type will function. So these battery interface modules, it consists of your battery sensors, then a communication interface. Okay. Then in between these circuit, it consists of sensing circuit, then optocoupler with this chip being, this is the microprocessor, okay, or the controller. Then they have shown the blue color, how the blue color will, what does a blue color has and how that is different from the red color battery interface module. So it further consists of, it also has your battery sensors and a communication interface. Now the green color is having the major components. We'll see what are the components here. So it consists of your communication interface, battery sensors with the second type of, now battery electric circuit operations. How does this battery circuit operations look like and how does they function? So this is the flow channel that has been designated by the yellow color. So how was today's session, all of you?
Good, sir.
So how did you see today's, hello everyone, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Your feedback.
Good, sir.
So if you have any question, any query, please give your feedback. So now I'll take your attendance, all of you. You can, we have Asim, then Jay, then
Yes, sir.
Very good, Parvinder, Janardhan,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Priyanka, and Roshan, then Sarthak.
Sir, Sarthak present, sir.
Asim, have you completed that content? Because
Sir,
in that mail
yes,
they have said that you have a time span of I think only 1 week.
yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Sir, that's what I'm doing along with the class. Sir, I actually talked with the Bhupinder sir. Sir, he told me the steps. I'll do it within 1 or 2 hours. I'll forward it to you.
Okay, you can forward it. What I have to do is I have to take a printout and then forward it, or I have to sign it and then give it to you. So I'll do one thing. You give me the content. You give me on the letterpad. I'll sign it and then I'll scan it through my scanner, or
Okay.
through the this image only, and then I'll save it on the system and then I'll upload
Sir,
it.
sir, I'll do one thing. I'll that in the letter pad, letter pad down. I'll paste the same content down. Final content. I'll give it to you. You just digitally sign it and upload it.
Okay, no problem. So, students, any other query you have? So, we'll end our session and we'll continue our discussion. So, how many total classes? I think 4 to 5 classes are required. That's it, right? So, we'll be compiling up our syllabus, and any content, any module, topic, anything is left, you please try to find it out. And if you want that revision, then we'll come up with more animated videos and with better explanation. All right.
All right, sir.
So please don't forget to give your feedback. Very important.